Hi, welcome to Scotty Wandering. Today I have a unique county park to show you. I'm in Dodge County, outside Columbus, Wisconsin, at Astico County Park, nestled in the bend of the Crawfish River. This campground and park have 4 distinct campgrounds within it. There's the Danville Section, along the river, along the mill pond of the Danville Dam. If you head down the path, past the bridge that has been placed here from another time, that gets you to other sections of the park, you will get down to the point at the bend of the river. These are all primitive sites down there. Along the river on the west side, which is great for sunsets, is the river section. And up in the middle of the park, high on the ridge, is the upper section. Almost all of the sites are electric except out on the point, and we'll get into the details of the tour after we finish walking and enjoying the park. Let's get into the campground tour now. I will break this into the four sections of the campground and chapter it out so you can find your section that you're looking for. Almost all the sites are electric. There is, in the point, that section is not electric. All the other ones are electric. There is one section in the upper shelter section where there are maybe 3 sites that are not electric. So you are paying a premium here, and the sites are a little bit of a premium cost over the other campgrounds in the county. And I think there is a reason for that. I am sure this place, when it's not the end of April and 30 some degrees in the morning, is a much busier place. I'm sure in the summer this is a busy place. One thing to note though is Highway 60 is across the river here, and that's running all the time. So that will be making some noise. So this first section, you definitely hear the river. All right, I am starting from, standing in site number 1. Down at the end of a row here, along the river. Like I said, Highway 60 over there. There's another little county or veterans or township park across the way over there. But these first 4 sites, 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're going to want to back into from way down there because there's no place to turn around. So rig size matters. This is not a place that you want to try to bring a trailer. The sites are tiny. Like I said, this is site 1. Site 2 here, fire pit's way back there, but that is a small site. Room to put tents, whatever out there, but there's not a lot of flat spot. I am in site 3, a little bigger, but not a lot of extra room here to play with. So yes, small sites. In site 4, over here, a little bit longer. It has a little bit of an upslope. There is plenty of room to stick a tent here and there or something if you need. And then these sites continue down there. Now we're kind of getting out into a bigger space here. But all these river sites are along this drive. Camp host, firewood, main bathrooms are over there. And then there's all this green space going up the hill over these sort of like terraced areas. Once you get to the top and on the other side, that's when we get to the next section. So we'll continue down here. This is 5. These are a little more exposed feeling than the first 4. And these are definitely longer sites, so you can fit a trailer or something on in here. Let's see, we're at 6 over here. See, we got a bit of an upward slope and then it levels off nicely. Let me show you what it's kind of like behind the rest of these sites. We have sort of a water control system here. So behind the sites, we got this sort of ditch area. If it's dry, that's all good to play in. All right, site 7, back in, definitely a slope, and then it levels off nice. So whatever trailer you're putting there or your vehicle is fine. Fire pit's way down here. And we'll jump up to 9. Again, fire pit down here amongst the trees. Oh, that's out, sorry, 8. That was 7. 8. 8's a little congested because you've got the main power panels there, but your power hookups back there. This one's not as big as the last one in room to put a rig. They are pretty good about telling you you have to put your rig length in to the site when you're making a reservation. It'll tell you what will fit. This one at 9 is quite long, but there's not a lot of extra up there because, like I said, it drops off behind. 10 over here, a little smaller. Picnic table and fire ring on the side. There's plenty of room. It's not like trailer park type, but it does get a little bit like that here because there's no cover between you and your neighbors. And that's 11. 12 looks quite long, and there you're bumping into a hill. And 13 on the end there with the little R pod. That is across from the main entrance. Little pier down here to put in if you want to paddle. Now the river here goes down around a point, and then the other side there is a dam. So this is all sort of a mill pond, low flow area. So it's pretty stable water. Doesn't have a lot of movement to it. So that completes the river section of the campground. Now let's take a look at the entrance, camp host, firewood, bathroom, all of that. Now this is very much a county park, way more than just a campground. A lot of people are coming and going just to use it as a park. Here's our complete map. So you can really see we are on a peninsula point of the river here. I just did the river section, 1 through 13 over there. There's the upper hilltop section. There's the point, and I have some questions on the point yet. And then there's the Danville section down here. There is an artisanal well in the Danville section as well as out in the point. There's a little bridge across. You can wander trails all over. It's a very large county park. Right next to the entrance station, we got the camp host. There is a dump station here. Dump station's here. It really is. Where is it? Oh, no, this is just water coming in. Dump station is actually up there. Let me show you how you get to that. Around behind the wood pile. They do have a good stock. And for the wood pile, there's a little outside section where you can grab your preloaded 8 pieces and drop your money in the box. But to get to the dump station, you gotta come up the hill here. And you've got to get out of here again. Well, it does exit out the other side of the building, so you don't have to worry about that. So dump station here, and the fresh water was down there. Shower house over here, very much like the last 2 county parks in Dodge County I visited. Up there, you can start to see some sights again, but all of this green space is just that, green space. This is a park. I'm gonna work my way up and continue this tour. Now, since I like to do my tours numerically, I'm going to jump over this whole section at the top for now, and we're going to go to the Danville section next. So I got a little bit of a walk ahead of me. Now, in the middle of the park, I got campground, green space, more campground over there, heading to the Danville, up over the hill and down. There's a cemetery that you cannot access from within the park. You have to all the way go down into the little tiny town down there and bring a road in separate from anywhere in this park. Also of note, there's a train track nearby somewhere, and you do hear that occasionally. On the site numbering, the last site I showed you was 13. Actually, the host site must be 14, because this section down here starts with 15. Turn in at the stacked rocks. There's a trail that'll lead you off to the bridge that takes you to the other side, or continue on, you'll get down to Point and around. It's a very lovely little trail. 15 here. It's got its power. Fire rings hiding back there. However you want to use this space. No pad there. 16 has a very short little parking pad where the picnic table is. Fire ring down here. And a lot of space between you and your neighbor. On this side. 17, clear pad there. Kind of slopes down a little bit. And now you don't have a lot of space between you and your neighbor. It's more focused on towards the river. I think we're kind of doing the same thing here. This is the last, well, no, there's some more parking pads coming. So we're looking at 18 here. This one seems a little wider in a pad than some of the others, but not super long. And then your fire ring down lower again. As we go along here, 19, very short, mossy pad. I mean, I would fit on what is the pad here. And then again, grass going down. No room between you and your neighbors right here. But you have all your spaces behind. And this is 20. Again, a very short space. These are definitely meant for tenting, but they all have power. So, you know, 21 here. Really, the table is the end of what has been paved. Oh, and of course, we have artisanal well here. So you can get some fresh water. I got water there yesterday. It's good water. Then we kind of skip over. I believe this is just a parking area for those who want to come to the well. This is 22. 22 is, well, you're going to park here across. There's no real depth here. Fire ring is that whole way down there. Okay, and the last site, 23 here. A little bit of a distance from the neighbors. The fire pit's over here, but you do have sort of that green space heading towards the private property over there. The big building in the distance is the old mill that is attached to the dam. That's all private property. I wouldn't go doing any urban exploring over there. Up around the corner here, pit toilets hiding up there. You wouldn't even be able to find that or see that during the regular season because this is all going to fill in. The green up has just begun. Okay, the campground's down there. You can see the structure for the well down there. Up here on the hill, we do have the pit toilets. And behind that, we have a swing set. So if you send your kids to play from this campground, they're going away from the water. And there's the little trail that connects it all. And now I'm going to head back up the hill and show you the upper section with the shelters. Okay, I ended with 23 down there. I seem to have a gap in numbers. There are two sections up here. There's a loop over there. And then there's a stretch over here. I got to jump in numbers that don't make any sense to me, but you know, what do I know? So let's take a look at this row of sites over here. Plenty of parking. Like I said, all that's park. That's just county park for other people to come in and use. 31 over here. These definitely feel more set up for RVs and enough room that you could park your vehicle and have a patio, paved patio next to it. All the fire rings are sunken ones. It's kind of hiding over there in the grass. These are definitely bigger, wider spaces, easy in and out, easy back ends on these sites. No challenge here. 32 there. Now I wonder on their rig, there's the length of the vehicle, and then they got an extra like 4 feet with those bikes. So technically that would not fit where I was, but it kind of would. 33 on this side, backed up to all that green space, looking out over the views out there, seeing the traffic go by. We're nowhere near the water up here though. 34 over here. And these are just backed up to these woods, and then it drops off pretty steeply over there. I don't know which one's next. 34, 35 is over here. On this side, on the green space side. 36. This one's a narrower one, so just room for the vehicle, no side space, but it's very flat off to the side. That puts us at 37. That rig, I don't know what that is. PRJ, I don't know what that means. Shelter available for rent up there. 38 here. Another narrow width, fairly long. That shelter doesn't have parking. 39. This one's got the width to it, so you can have your trailer and vehicle next to it. And 40 over here to end this section off. Okay, I've crossed back over. I'm going to be going back over there again after I do this last section. But let's do this last loop up here on the hill, and then I'll go down to the point. So we enter over here, and it comes back out up there. So this one has easy access to this playground here. as part of the park. So this is sites 41 through 53 and group sites G through J. And this is actually when we're getting closer to the main bathhouse. 41 over here, the only other one occupied up here right now. And you get a good sense of what fits and what doesn't fit in the drive. 42, a little smaller than that. And these all back up to the ones on the other side. So this first couple here getting a little crowded in the summer. 52, they really should turn their signs a little bit. I can't tell what's what until I get there. And when you're driving, that's kind of a pain. 43, okay. 43, kids play off the back. That's a good one for that. Fire pits over there, don't fall in the fire pit. Surround it with chairs. 43, that means this is probably 44. Yep. So we've got a little upward slope, not very long. I mean, I'd fit in there a Class C or something like a pop-up or something like that, small trailer. 45, again, not very big. Not a lot of extra room to work because it drops off on all sides. So stepping out of something over on this side is going to be kind of steep. 46, you can see the slope up. It's still upward slope all the way back, so it never really gets level. Then trail down to the bathroom, the full bathhouse, and get your firewood. And then we're going to group site land, and then we'll continue on over by the cemetery for the last couple of them. That row of picnic tables and everything over here, this is group site A, backing up to cornfield, closest to the bathroom. And you just see the one little fire pit there. H is next to that, definitely smaller. Definitely a smaller site. In fact, it's more like just a site than a group site. I don't know what the restrictions are for calling it a group site or what you're allowed to have in here. I think these are the ones that it was going to let me book as non-electric sites. So I and H and J, I would just consider small, non-electric sites. You can tent it. Something very small can be out here, but you might be next to a big group. So I think these are really just small tent sites. They may not have the same restrictions as some of the others. All right, almost backing up to 40. I got 45 on the far side of the road there, 46 there. This is 47, and they are almost backed up to each other. Book them both and you got to pull through because they are pretty much lined up there. This one is more level than 46 was. I think this is 47. This one's definitely got a downhill slope to it. Fairly small, great for tents. Oh, that's 48, sorry. Yeah, okay. 48. 49 over here. Short sight, not a lot of room behind. You could be hanging over with something over there, but it's still a very small site. 50 here, that one's actually fairly level, a little bit of a slope downhill towards me. 51 over here. Again, we're very congested in this area, so you don't have a lot of space here. Let's see, which side is that here? 52 over here is long because it's actually also an access road for somebody at some time if needed to get out the back of the cemetery. So it's really long. It's kind of unusually long and for a weird reason. 53 down here levels out a bit into the darker gravel there. And that is all of the ones in this upper hilltop section with the shelter. Now I'm going to go on the other side of the shelter down the hill to the point. And the point is definitely different. All right, for another sense of location here, there's the river section. There's my rig down there on 3. And that continues out to 13 down there. This upper section, that other van is way up there. And that other rig in the loop was way over there. All of this is open space. And then we start over here is the road heading down to the point. Now, basic information here, sites R through DD are down there, and shelter is down there. Tents and pop-ups only, no generators down there. But you can drive there. There's the shelter at the top where I was like, hey, there's no parking. There's parking down this road. That's where it's hiding. Pit toilet for that. It's a little rough up here. Feeling these shelters aren't used that much. They are adding power to a pump station, I believe, to get water up into this area. Now we're going to go down the road and find that point campground. Now I'm up on a ridge right now, so I know I'm going to have to go down at some point. But I'm glad I went this way because it looks like I would have missed some stuff. Now I think these might just be picnic areas. So as far as a park goes, that's a picnic area. Come and plunk down and spend the day here. That's kind of nice. And then paths off to the trails. I mean, these could be campsites, but they're not. If they ever felt the need to expand the camping, and maybe that explains the gap in numbers, because these might have been at one time. But they're all just little picnic areas along here. Yeah, this pull-off definitely screams pull-through. So I think these were sites at one point. Well, we are pretty remote from a bathroom, and everybody insisted on power using their generators. There's ways around that now. You don't need power. Plenty of vehicles have the batteries on board like mine do now. Okay, just came over the hill. Yes, the highway is right there, but this is what you're welcomed with. And you come down this very steep hill. And this may be one of the limiting factors in what kind of things they want coming down here, because this is steep. All right, here's generally the campground area. The well here, so there is fresh drinking water, and this one's flowing much better than the other one does. Big green space with sites, some sites way in the distance, and a pit toilet over here with a couple little sites there. We're going to start over here on the river and then work our way around. Now the first site over here is along the edge of the trail, and that is actually a picnic spot with a grill. Site R here, that's fire rings down there. Whatever you want to do here. S here. All of this is S. Fire ring over there by the well, and then this is the water coming off the well off over there. All this green space on the other side of the well runoff is just open space. These are not campsites here. I think it probably gets looks a little low, probably gets wet. So we continue over here at T. T is a little rough, but still a good place to tent, park wherever you want. I've got Y over here. It's just a nice little place. You got all that place. Just find yourself a dry spot to set your tent. Works well. U over here. next to the pit toilet. Z. There's plenty of room over here to do whatever you want. And we're going to continue on over to the sites that are hiding up over there. All right, following that road around, and then the road goes up and reconnects up there. But V's down here. I'm going to show you V. The hiking trail is over there. That'll walk you to the bridge or all the way to the Danville section. But here is V, and why can't I book V? I would be quite happy back here. Look at all this just enjoyable space. Now we're not quite to the river here. Sometimes maybe, sometimes not, but there's another site out there. Might even be better. All right, coming off this other little side spur, we got X and W. W over here. X, I'd be a little nervous about. It seems like it's going to be a soggy site. If it's a very dry year, you'll be okay, but otherwise, I worry about it being a little wet. The picnic table itself says it's wet all the time. Okay, the well's over there. Here is site AA, right along the river. And there's one more site down there, BB, and I think that's the one I was eyeing from the other site. Now BB over here is a little bit more off the road. Not as off the road as the Danville sites downstream, but very more on the river than those are. Almost see, I don't know if you can see on this camera, the bridge that crosses over. So everything over there is also part of the county park. So nobody's living over there. And there are trails over there as well. And that's the site that I was looking at before. Now, if you got a couple people who like to fish in tent, BB might be great, because you've also got this great little path coming down here. Well, now that the noisy neighbors have left, you can probably fish out of here quite nicely, and like you can see up there is the bridge. Bridge is not original to this location. I'm told it was no longer of use in its original location, so it was plunked down here. They built footings for it. Otherwise, I looked at that bridge and went, that bridge goes nowhere. It makes no sense there. But it's a nice foot traffic bridge. Well, that's my look at Astico County Park in Dodge County, outside of Columbus. Wonderful little park, over 100 acres here. The fees vary. Non-electric, out on the point, has rig length restrictions like 8 foot. I don't even know what an 8-foot rig is. It's not your car is more than that. So I'm not quite sure how they determine things down there. Those are $20 a night. If you're up on the hill, the electric sites up there are $25. If you're down on the river or in the Danville section, they're $28 a night. Then you add a $5 reservation fee on top of that per reservation length. So if you're staying multiple days, it's just the one, $5 fee. Stay limit, 7 days in a site, $14 stay total in a row in the park. You have to move sites after 14 days, after 7 days. So you're not just plunking down and staying put. It really kind of helps keep people from just moving in a place like this. And I like that. I like a place that isn't filled with seasonal campers too. So you know that people can come and book these sites as needed and not and move around a little bit. Try different places. You know, there's so much to explore in this state. Plunking down in one spot for a whole season just doesn't make any sense to me. But a lot of people do it because then they can just plunk the rig down and don't have to move the rig every weekend. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get a lot more county parks in this year. This is my third Dodge County Park. There is one more, but it is closed this year, so I will not be getting to that this year. And I'm told, good luck if you can pronounce the name of it. I have no idea what it is. So I'm going to continue looking for county parks this year. I got some other plans in this year. Take our new rig on a long journey at some point this summer. But I am looking at getting around and getting to more of these little spots that I have been ignoring. It is a challenge to figure out which ones I'm going to like and feel like it's worth sharing with you. Because if I don't like it, I'm not even going to do a video on it. So it's kind of hard to say, like, did I not like that one because I didn't do a video, or did I not do a video because I haven't seen it yet? So I'll just let you know the ones I like. And this one I like. And yes, you're paying a little premium for some of these sites, especially with a highway right there. But I think they're going to be worth it, especially when things green out, the leaves fill in, and it'll start cutting some of this noise down. So I'll see you on the next one, and get on out there.